Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing wonderful. This is Danelle here at Networkchain. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. There were a ton of news stories that came out over the past week. Let's go ahead and get started with Bitcoin currently trading at around 116,000. It is basically flat over the past week. Ethereum down 3% after making a nice move over the past couple of weeks. It is now at around $4,500. XRP still just under $3, down 4.56%. We have Solana basically flat right now. It's currently trading at around $240. It did get up to 250. It's come back down a little bit. And then we see Dogecoin is down 9%. It had a nice move up over the past week as well, so it's kind of coming back down a little bit, having a minor correction, and it's currently trading at around 27 cents. And then we have Cardano rounding out the top 10 with Hyper Liquid kind of coming in, closing on the heels of Cardano. So we'll see if they're able to get into the top 10. If we look at the overall cryptocurrency market, you can see that the fear and greed index is basically neutral, so not a lot of greed, not a lot of fear. We had the announcement of a federal rate cut, which we will talk about in a moment. So we shall see if Bitcoin and other risk assets will start to make a climb on the upward trend, because generally that will happen when the interest rates go down and people are able to get money for a lot cheaper than what they used to. So also they'll be looking for higher returns in other areas, and potentially will move money from money market funds, for example, and put it into the market. So time will tell, obviously, on that. So we shall see. We can see that the current cryptocurrency market cap is at all-time highs. It's over $4 trillion now if you look at the entire cryptocurrency market, and the volume is about $110 billion, and I believe that's for the day. So we're seeing that a lot more people are getting access to the cryptocurrency market, really leaning into digital assets. Some other news stories that we'll get into further evidences that. So we're seeing that not only retail investors like me and you are, still piling into cryptocurrencies, but we're also seeing some of the big money, the so-called smart money, the institutions that are also piling into cryptocurrency and digital assets as well. We look at the cryptocurrency ETFs, and basically the main ones that we're following here is Bitcoin and Ethereum. And you can see here that over the past week that the net flow was positive. You can see that Bitcoin had a great week, as well as Ethereum, and all of it was positive over the past week. So we're seeing that more money is flowing into the cryptocurrency ETF. So as I mentioned, the Federal Reserve announced over the past week, last Wednesday, that the Federal Reserve has approved a quarter-point interest rate cut, and there could be two more coming later on this year. So on Wednesday, as you can see, that they approved that the anticipated rate cut would be happening, and that there could be potentially a few more going into the end of the year. And so there was an 11-1 vote regarding doing the interest rate cut. And you can see here that if you look at the federal funds rate since 2000, we had been going up basically since 2000, the quickest that we have gone up in history in terms of how much the federal fund rate had gone and how many hikes had been made over a shorter time frame. And we see now that they are pivoting and they're going to start to cut. So we're going to see now that the federal funds rate is going to be between 4 and 4.25%. So as I mentioned earlier, this is an indicator that now that money market funds, for example, the interest rate that you get in your savings account is going to be a little bit less now. More people are going to likely decide to move those funds to try to get better returns in other assets. And so usually when there's federal rate cuts, we notice that risk on assets, particularly when it comes to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin has always done very well whenever there were interest rate cuts, as well as equities. When it comes to technology, for example, those are also considered risk on assets and investments. So we shall see if the stock market, which has been doing very well, S&P 500 reached all-time highs over the past week. We'll see if it'll continue to do well. NASDAQ has been doing well. So most of the major indices have been doing well, particularly in anticipation of this rate cut, because a lot of times the stock market and equity markets do move in anticipation of certain macroeconomic events. And so the market was already starting to move leading up into this cut. And now that it was announced, we're still seeing some growth that's happening in the equity and cryptocurrency market. So one of the major news stories that came out from the Mag 7 is that Google is releasing an AI payments protocol that are going to include stablecoins. They partner with Coinbase as well as Salesforce, and basically AI agents, as we continue to see it as an emerging technology that is continuing to grow, and many speculate that it will be a tens of trillions of dollar market, potentially even more than that. And so Google, as being one of the largest technology companies in the world, announced that they will be enabling their AI agents to be able to use cryptocurrency and basically use the blockchain. So there will be a time when AI will be doing certain transactions, and they will be able to make payments, and they will be able to use the blockchain to be able to make those payments. So depending on what type of transactions are happening, obviously there will be some type of instructions that will have to be put into the AI for these type of transactions to happen, but it will basically be able to be done automatically using these AI applications. And Google has been working with Coinbase as well as organizations like Salesforce, American Express, Etsy. So these are, major retail and institutional companies that are basically understanding the importance of using digital assets, particularly when it comes to something like AI. And so now Google is going to be making these AI agents having the ability to use stablecoins, now that we do have the Genius Act, which passed, that gave clarity with regards to stablecoins and the rules and regulations that are involved with stablecoins and the transparency that is needed when it comes to using stablecoins. Now that we have that regulation that's already enacted into law, a lot of institutions, banks, credit card companies, technology companies like Google are now moving and fast forward basically with regards to finding ways to be able to use the blockchain and cryptocurrency in all of these applications that are going to be used in the future. So you can go here to Fortune Crypto to learn more about what's happening here with Google and the AI applications. But you can see that they are going to be working with Coinbase to make sure that the payment schemes, as you can see, were interoperable, and that they're working to figure out how they can use AI to transmit value to each other. So AI applications will be working one in the in the same, in terms of being able to work with one another and getting certain transactions made and done between each other. Also, PayPal, speaking of making transactions and making payments, now they are ushering in, as they say, a new era of peer-to-peer payments. So they had already allowed merchants to be able to accept crypto from their customers, and now people, just like Venmo, for example, where you're able to send money back and forth between each other. Now you'll be able to use cryptocurrency with what they call PayPal links. So this is now a new way that you can have a personalized link that you can share with anyone in a conversation, or anybody that's in your contacts, and they can pay you in cryptocurrency. So basically now they're offering a crypto way to be able to have this peer-to-peer experience using these PayPal links. So this is obviously something that is new, and it's just once again showing the interest in digital assets and cryptocurrencies. And now there are ways for me and you to be able to pay each other using the PayPal platform. Now, as we know, generally speaking, you don't need to use a third-party application like PayPal, but PayPal is a very popular payment processor and payment platform. A lot of people pay for goods and services using PayPal, so it makes sense for them to be able to also integrate these PayPal links for people to be able to use crypto, as well as if they already have crypto in their PayPal wallet. They can now pay their friends for splitting dinner, whatever the case may be, and use crypto that they have in their PayPal accounts and pay their friends that way as well. So it's just basically offering optionality for people like me and you to be able to use cryptocurrency. If you are a PayPal user, I believe they're also going to be integrating it into Venmo as well, as you can see here. So PayPal also has their own stablecoin called PYUSD, which is pegged to the dollar. So one PYUSD is equal to $1, but you're basically using the blockchain, so you don't have to try to go back and forth between dollars and PayPal USD. You can just use that as the stable coin. Also, you can pay with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and at some point I'm sure they'll also be offering other cryptocurrencies as well, but right now Bitcoin and Ethereum and PayPal USD are going to be the crypto coins that you will be able to use using these PayPal links. So one last story that we'll get into before I let you go. SEC is paving a way for a speedier crypto ETF listing. So there, once again, when we come back to offering clarity and regulations when it comes to cryptocurrencies and digital assets, that then opens up the market for larger institutions to basically get involved and know that they can move forward with digital assets, having an understanding of what the regulations are going to be. So they are now offering the information that's going to be needed if crypto ETFs are going to continue to go onto the market. So actually, just this past week, the Rex Osprey XRP ETF. So there's now an XRP ETF that is on the market. We talked about Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Now we have XRP, and then also there is a Rex Osprey Doge ETF. So we have a meme coin, the very first meme coin ETF in the market. So now if you want to be able to trade Dogecoin as an equity, you are going to be able to do that with this ETF. So the SEC is now basically, as you can see here, the SEC chairman, I'll just say his quote: This approval helps to maximize investor choice and foster innovation by streamlining the listing process and reducing barriers to access digital asset products within America's trusted capital market. So the U.S. stock market is the largest stock market in the world, and we can see that cryptocurrency is continuing to expand into traditional finance. So once again, we see that crypto continues to be an emerging market. We will continue to keep you posted here on YouTube as well as X and IG. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to linking up with you soon on the network chain. Take care and have a great week. Bye-bye.